Freida here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to finally be doing my May and June reading wrap up. I'm late with this, obviously, moving on. So in May, I read 3 books. The first is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. So Deep End is about Scarlett Vandermeer, who is a junior at Stanford, who is also a competitive diver on the school's diving team. Scarlett suffers a pretty severe injury at a diving competition, and while she's recovering from her injury, she meets Lucas Bloomquist, a senior at Stanford who is Olympic gold medalist, also on the school swimming team. They discover that they share a secret common interest, and so they decide to start a relationship, but only to explore this common interest of theirs. And the more time that Scarlett spends around Lucas, she starts to catch real feelings, which is a problem because her relationship with Lucas wasn't meant to be more than what it was supposed to be. I really like this book. This is the first book by Ali Hazelwood that I've read. What I liked most about this book was not only did Scarlett and Lucas have really great chemistry with each other, but they also had a really great emotional connection as well. So my star rating for Deep End was 6 stars. The next book is Bear by Phillips. This is about 2 sisters, Elena and Sam, who all their lives they've had this dream to leave their hometown and start over somewhere else. But when their mother gets ill, they decide to put that dream on hold to care for her. Next thing they know, a decade has gone by, and along with it, they feel as though their dream has as well. So one day, a bear randomly shows up at their home, and while the 2 sisters have been on the same page about pretty much everything in their lives, they share a very different opinion on the situation. Elena is overjoyed by it, Sam is not, and this puts a strain on their relationship and also puts at risk their dream of one day getting out of their hometown. So I really like this book a lot. I really connected to the story and the characters. I thought the author did a really great job with the story when they talked about like life and time and lost and missed opportunities and family. All that was written about really well. The story is one that very much breaks your heart as you are reading it. It's very sad and depressing and tragic, but there are glimmers of hope throughout the story as well. And so my star rating for Bear was 6 stars. The last book I read in May was The Better Sister by Alafair Burke. The Better Sister is about 2 sisters, Chloe and Nikki, and they were pretty much close all their lives, but then over time they drifted apart. Chloe, after college, moves to New York City, while Nikki stays back in their hometown in Ohio. There she meets Adam, a lawyer who she later marries and have a child with. And we flash forward to the story 15 years later, and Chloe is now married to Adam, and together they are raising Nikki and Adam's son Ethan together in New York City. Chloe and Adam have very high profile careers. Chloe runs a magazine, Adam works at a prestigious law firm. But, you know, despite that, they still manage to live pretty simple and quiet lives. But that all changes one day when Chloe comes home to find Adam dead, covered in blood. The police on the case seem to think that it wasn't just some stranger who killed Adam, but someone close to him. So I really like this mystery thriller. The characters were very well written, very complex, and you really got to know who they were and the lives they lived and the lives they are currently living when the story starts as well. The twists and turns were also really, really good. They were written in a way where you didn't know a twist or turn was coming, shocking you and catching you off guard time and time again. My star rating for The Better Sister was 5 stars. So in June, I read 2 books. The first is The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. The Boyfriend is about Sydney, who just wants to fall in love and have a boyfriend. And so she's on a dating app called Cinch, but has no luck on it. And then she meets Tom, a really gorgeous and kind doctor, and they start to talk, go on a few dates, and eventually become exclusive. But the more time that Cindy spends around him, she can't help but pick up on a few red flags. But anytime she brings up any of her concerns to Tom, he always has a way of explaining himself. So Sydney tells herself she's overthinking things and tries to move past her concerns, but she can't help but wonder if Tom really is the man of her dreams, or does she just want him so badly to be. So I really like this book. This was a really fun, fast-paced mystery thriller with great characters and great twists and turns. The only thing about the book that I was underwhelmed by was the ending. Anyway, overall really liked it. My star rating was 5 stars. Now for the last book in June, Once More with Feeling by Elissa Sussman, which is about Kathleen Rosenberg, who at one point in time the world knew as pop star Katie Rose. It was during that time when Kathleen was dating Ryan Lanieve of the boy band Crush Stone. But at the height of Kathleen's career and popularity, she ends up losing everything in the blink of an eye when word comes out about her being romantically linked to Cal Kirby comes out, one of Ryan's bandmates from Crush Stone. The fallout for her was devastating. It destroyed her career. Years go by, and now Kathleen is living a very simple, quiet life in New York City. But when her best friend tells her that she wrote a musical with her in mind for the lead, Kathleen jumps at the chance to be a part of the show. Her excitement, though, is short-lived when she finds out that Cal Kirby will be directing the show. Kathleen and Cal haven't seen or spoken to one another since their cheating scandal, and Cal is the last person Kathleen wants to be around, but she doesn't want to let him get in the way of her career comeback. I have feelings about this book. Not all positive. The reason for that is that the first 300 pages of the book, the romance storyline really wasn't that strong. This is a second chance romance, and when Kathleen and Cal meet again in the present day, you know, there's awkwardness and resentment that's felt. They're constantly arguing back and forth, and I assume we're supposed to feel like the passion and the underlying tension and the feelings that they have for one another still, but I didn't feel any of that. Now, once you got past the first 300 pages, the last portion of the story, the romance was very much there. It came to life, kicked in, got really good. You felt that passion, the chemistry, and the longing that they still had for one another. Another thing that I really liked was the writing, as well as how the story involved Broadway. And so, with all that being said, my star rating for Once More Feeling was 4 stars. So those are the books that I read in May and June. And if you're curious more on what the books I talked about today are about and my thoughts on them in a more in-depth way, be sure to check out my playlist, Books I Read in 2025, where you can find my spoiler-free book reviews on all the books that I talked about here today. So yeah, that's going to be for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to help you discover a new book today along the way as well. And until next time, bye.